This I found up at Hume Lake Christian Bookstore, and this is more of an allegorical interpretation of the Bible. And the book was called Genesis Unbound. Catchy. And it was written by a guy named Dr. Sailhammer. And his problem was, he's like, why are Christians getting in this fight with scientists that we don't need to be in? We can take the scriptures seriously, we can use them, and we need to stop getting into these petty squabbles with different disciplines. He believes that first verse in Genesis is the totality of creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Boom. Okay. So here we got the creation of the world and everything in it. But then, when we get down into verse 3, and God starts talking about the separation of light and darkness and all those sorts of things, it's like a special creation. So here we have the totality of reality in Genesis 1:1. And then down verse 3, God starts to talk about the world. And he talks about a garden being placed in Eden. And so here we have the world, and then we have Eden with 4 rivers flowing through it. What's going on out here? That could be your pterodactyls, your T-Rexes, your Neanderthals. But inside the garden, that's where God has it sheltered. That's where your domestic plants and animals and trees are. Adam and Eve are living with all their needs being met. But when Adam and Eve disobeyed God, what happened to them? What's that?
They were cast out of the garden.
Yes. It even tells us what direction they were cast out.
East.
Yes, very good. So they're cast out east of Eden into the land of Nod. Jeopardy questions. Dr. Sailhammer sees the Genesis account as a type of Canaan. Do you remember what types were? So it's a real, literal, historical event or place or people, but it's also a foreshadowing of something to come. So Eden as a type of Canaan is super fascinating. So think about the story of Canaan. So we have Abram called. What direction does he come into Canaan from? Where is Haran? Yes, he comes from the east into Canaan. When Adam and Eve are kicked out of the garden, they're kicked out into the east. What did God place at the entrance of the garden to keep Adam and Eve out?
The angel with the flaming sword.
Yes, angel with the flaming sword. When Jacob fled Canaan back to Haran, and then he came back in, what did Jacob have to do the night before he was allowed back into the land? All night long, he did something.
Why you wrestled with the angel?
He wrestled with the angel. Do you see the parallels here? So you have an angel blocking the way. You have Jacob having to overcome the angel to get back into Eden, back into the promised land. And then the same thing with the children of Israel. It's a type. If you obey God, you're going to prosper. There won't be wild beasts. There won't be enemies invading you. There won't be drought. There won't be plague. But if you disobey me, you will be cast out of the land. And that's exactly what happened when they went into idolatry. Once again, cast out to the east of Canaan and out into the world. Now, I love this sort of hermeneutic because of the application and the parallels, and it's showing continuing themes of God. But come on, I mean, we talked about the problem of allegorical interpretation, right? It's, you literally can make it mean or say whatever you want, in a sense. And if this is supposed to be the reading, well, why all the talk about the sun, moon, and stars, right? Or all these other things happening in the creation order that has nothing to do with what's going on in this sheltered little garden of Eden? Like, what about all the talk of the sea and the sea creatures and the fish? What does that have to do with it? This is nowhere near the sea as far as we know it, right? I mean, what we even know about seas and Pangea or whatever that original thing was. So this is an allegorical interpretation. Once again, the pros is it allows you to take the Bible seriously, allegorically this time, but still seriously, it's still authoritative, but you're not getting all worked up and into these petty fights with people from other belief systems.